Okay, I'm super, super excited that feminine energy became a thing, became a buzzword. A lot of people are knowing about it, are talking about it. There's a lot of coaches that emerged about feminine energy. But I know that what I'm going to be talking about with you today is all of the things that people are doing wrong in a way. And I know that there's no right and wrong. At least that's really how I believe that life should be. But what I want to do is really give you a glimpse on 5 things that I usually see when I coach 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs when it comes to feminine energy. Because honestly, we see it everywhere. Feminine energy tends to be cycle syncing, sensual dance, moon rituals, really understanding that you have a 28-day cycle and that women cannot work the same as men because we are biologically different. This is all cute. It's inspiring. It's already 2014. It's Instagrammable, obviously, because you can really picture the dream of you not working anymore and you just relaxing and doing I don't know, doing shimmy shakes and then reaching 7 figures. But when you're running a multi 6 and 7 figure in business, those things alone will not hold you. So today I want to break down 5 of the biggest misconceptions about feminine energy and what it actually looks like when you embody it as a CEO. Misconception number 1, that feminine energy is only about pleasure and only about really allowing yourself to embody the joy. I know that this is the starting point for a lot of women when they are going from a hyper masculinized life to a more feminine energy life. What that means is when you're in control, when you are constantly on the go, 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 and you really want to slow down, your nervous system is going to be like, what the fuck? I really don't feel safe with slowing down. And therefore, you will never actually be able to embody the safety of doing that. What that looks like. And I hope that it's okay for us to talk about sex a little bit here. And one of those things is these women, even in bed, they're either super submissive or they are super masculine. They're always taking control in bed. Another way that you can see if your life is only about pleasure and how that polarity within yourself is kind of off is when you are always seeking the next shiny thing because you are living out of dopamine. You are living out of this hormone that is only allowing you to seek that next hit. So you're actually addicted to an unsafe, chaotic environment. And pleasure, when your nervous system is wired for chaos, that chaos is actually going to give you a pleasurable feeling. And this is where pleasure, in the way that it's being taught out there about feminine energy and feminine CEOship, is something that I believe we should peel down a couple of layers. What pleasure actually looks like is safe to really allow all of the sensations of your body to exist from that presence. And I think that that is the number one thing when you talk about what is the thing that I see the most mistakes out there that a lot of feminine energy coaches or people that are really wanting to go deeper into their feminine energy is that they don't understand the power of presence, because presence requires you to be very attuned to your own emotions, for you to be very attuned with how your body feels 24 hours a day, not just the 1 hour that you're meditating, that you're doing the cacao ceremony, that you're going to the gym. Is you really allowing, not only feeling it, because I know a lot of amazing women that are doing amazing things that know about the nervous system, that know about the feminine energy polarity. And yet, when I'm sitting with them, I can feel their contraction in their body. I always say that your nervous system has two sides, two emotions. As to we as women and even men, we have a lot of emotions, a lot of them. But our body only knows two extremes. You're either contracting or expanding. And contracting means you are cringed. Your body is all cringed. And even that, when a woman doesn't know how to fully release and be in presence for pleasure to actually show up, even the pleasurable things that are supposed to give you pleasure are going to feel like hard work. I mean, like breathing, like when you are trying to get an orgasm when we think about it, right? It's the women that are really into that, addicted to that contraction and that hard work that also shows up in your business, then even getting an orgasm will feel like hard work. When honestly, your body, a woman's body, has one organ that is all about pleasure. So if you do the right things, right? And not even you, hopefully, you have a beautiful partner that can help you with that. You don't need to freaking do so much work. But here you are trying to do it all and then calling it, oh, but I am really connected to my pleasure. No, you're not. The fact that you get the high out of life, get the high out of your business, get the high out of your love life and out of your sex life doesn't mean that you are connected to your feminine energy. It just means that you know how to get pleasure from contraction. When you look at the opposite spectrum of things, it's also about expansion. And expansion means that you're doing hard things that naturally feel hard for your nervous system, but it doesn't trigger you into your trauma default response. For some people, that trauma default response is either shutting down. When you shut down and you're completely zoned out, when you're completely away, you're having like almost this out of body experience. And the other one is when you are like in hyper fight, right? So these are the two responses, right? You are either fully shut down where you are zoned out, you are frozen, you're out of body experience, or you are really in fight mode where you're like go 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 go. And for a lot of women, at least the women that I coach, they had to do it all. You had to do so much. You had to carry your whole fucking family. You needed to be the parent in your family. In your relationships, you were often the masculine energy. You were the ones planning the vacations. You were the ones planning the budgeting. You were the one planning the wedding. You were the one doing all of the things. And I am not talking about me. I'm talking about you. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that was my life too. My life, I was the one doing so much in my life. I was the one planning the birthdays for all of my friends. I was the one planning all of the vacations with me and all of my friends. I was constantly doing because I was so much in fear of losing connections, in fear of not living life to the fullest, whatever that means. And I was so addicted again to that dopamine, to that pleasure. And that brings us to this first misconception. I'm going to try to go a little bit further on because I went on a little rant there, but I think all of this really needed to be here. Misconception number 2 is that feminine energy means you have no structure and you only flow through life. There is so much that I can say about this, and I'm really going to try to condense years of coaching thousands of women in this, and now recently also men, into, I don't know, a 3-minute rant. It is important for you to understand that without having that container, right? I'm not even going to talk about structure. I'm going to talk about container. Structure comes second. About that container, you will get overwhelmed, you will procrastinate, and you will go into perfectionism. All of them are fear-based. You need to see the feminine energy. Maybe you've heard this before, probably you have, is that the feminine energy is like water. And think about it. When there is a flood, right, in a city, and the flood, there's a lot of water without the dikes that might be able to take the water from a certain perspective or like guide the water so it doesn't overflow into the city and literally killing everyone. That is the feminine energy. The feminine energy should be chaotic because it's also creative. The feminine energy should go in flow because it's the intuition, is the connection with source, with higher power, however you want to call it, with God. The feminine energy is that part of you that is always connected to the divine, to the higher power. And the masculine energy is the container, is what guides the water so it doesn't kill everyone. Which means that the masculine container is supposed to feel like safety for the woman and not restricting. And a lot of the people that I tend to work with, sometimes you use structure as a form of control. You use structure as a form of, oh, I need to plan every freaking launch, the whole thing, because I don't trust that I can actually get my results if I don't plan every second of it. And when you do that, you will leave no room for your connection with the divine, for intuitive hits. And this is why, obviously, I'm not saying that feminine energy is the only way to go. I am saying, and this is why I tattooed it here, I don't know if you can see it on my arms, the moon and the sun. I've got two hands. Imagine if I lost one hand, what will happen? I mean, there's a lot of people that can go through life doing like that, but we can all agree that it's more challenging, that it requires more adaptation. And in your life, you have to look at your business the same way. You really need to understand that it's not right or wrong. It's about allowing yourself to really stand in both and really use both energies. And the most important thing is that you need to know when to use both. I don't believe that there is balance between masculine and energy. I don't believe. This might sound like a truth bomb and I might get canceled and people might react really negative in the comments. Come at me. I'm ready for you. But I don't believe in feminine and masculine energy balance. I think that's the biggest bullshit that we have been sold in the personal development world. Because when you are trying to balance yourself, there's always a layer of shame. And because I used to be a trauma expert, I mean, I still am, but that was like the first niche that I had chosen, was really to help people heal their trauma and really, really deep shit. Is what I encountered there, that the trauma was more about the layers of shame that we needed to peel away for our essence to really show through. So what that looks like is, let's say you're in your feminine energy, but you want balance. That means that you're never going to actually lean fully into your feminine energy and use all of the amazing things that the feminine energy will likely give you, because you're always chasing balance. It's like chasing a freaking carrot. And then you were like, oh, but I also should have masculine energy. I should develop my masculine energy. And then you never truly allow yourself to fully be in your feminine energy. On the other side, we have the masculine energy. And it feels as if women are shamed for having masculine energy. And if you're single, for all my single amazing CEOs out there, it's like, oh, but you're too much in your masculine and you don't allow a man to come into your life. And I'm like, no, because when I am on a date, I am fully surrendered into my feminine energy. And if I am not fully surrendered into my feminine energy when I'm on a date, which is a very different state of being than when I am in my business, and this is why, this balance does not, I don't believe in it. It's fucking bullshit. Because when I am on a date, I am joyful, I am playful. And if I am not joyful and playful, two things can be happening. One, this person is triggering a deep wound within me, and that requires for me to look at it. Or two, the person is actually not safe. And that's discernment, and that's maybe a conversation for another topic, because I might be even writing a book about dating, but that's a different topic. But this is what I mean, is that this balance doesn't exist, and chasing that balance will actually keep you stuck. What actually helps you is when you allow yourself to fully hone in the healthy sides of both energies, because there are unhealthy sides and healthy sides to masculine energy and to feminine energy. One example for masculine energy would be what I said before, is like when you are so focused on structure and so focused on strategy that you are doing it from a contracted nervous system, from that fear, from that, oh my God, I know how to do this and I've done this for 3 years and now it's no longer working. Why is it not working? Of course, because you are being called to rise above that. And you cannot bring big, bold ideas into the world. You cannot change the world from a small container. And who holds that bigger container is your connection with source, with your higher power, right? And on the flip side, the feminine energy, the unhealthy side of the feminine energy, is when women are overly emotional and they lack that self-regulation. They lack that ability to see through their own patterns and to see like, oh my God, this is a wound that's actually coming from way back in the day where I don't feel seen, I don't feel heard. Even like when you are expecting someone else to save you. Like, one of the reasons that I shifted my business from being a trauma expert to now helping only 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs is because I was done attracting people that were so married to their idea of victim mentality. Like, when you look at my story, I am a freaking orphan. I worked every day after school since I was 11. My father got killed. My mom died from cancer. I have been abused. I've suffered from narcissistic abuse my whole life, and every type of abuse that you can think of, I endured. But yet, I was that type of person, and still to this day, I am. Where it's like, that is my past. That does not define my future. And I was continuously working and taking radical responsibility for me to accept that that is no longer me. That is not the story that I want to repeat. And I looked for the best mentors and the best teachers, and I did the freaking work. I was doing body work, healings every single day for myself. I was learning about business. I was doing so many things on a daily basis to get me where I am today. And I didn't expect someone else to save me. I didn't expect for my friends to know how to deal with me. No, if I have a friendship and I require something from a friendship, I'm going to speak up. It's like, hey, it's just like any relationship. This is the type of friendship I want. And if it's great with you, then we can have an amazing friendship. If it's not, then we cannot be friends because I'm no longer tolerating this behavior. And this is where that balance, right? I think that it's not about balance, it's about understanding what your feminine energy needs from your masculine energy to actually feel safe. And when we're talking about business, your feminine energy requires that container. And now we go into the strategy. The strategy is not supposed to be the leading art in your business. It's supposed to be your feminine energy, your creativity. What are we creating, right? An example, picture a husband and a wife sitting in front of each other. And the wife says, babe, I would love to live in a house with five bedrooms because I want to have three kids, but I also want a gym and I also want this and I also want that. And she's like, oh, and I also want to do art and I want to dance. And she is not caring whether or not the man can or will provide for it. She's just allowing herself to dream, right? Because when they're married, that means that they feel safe with each other. That's the baseline. But she's telling her husband what she would love out of life. Then his masculine energy is like, oh my God, I love that. I love that. Okay, let me do a vision. Let me do a plan. Let me make all of the things. Let me go out there, make more money to make this happen because I want to see you happy. That is what happens when both energies are deeply aligned and deeply ignited. And this marriage is also what's supposed to happen within yourself. It is so important for you to understand that in our business, it is the freaking same. It is the same. You cannot have the wife be like, oh, I want to launch this thing and I want to have this event and I want to do this book and I want to have this, but then not have the systems, right? And not have those things. I have ADHD. Ay, ay, ay. And I think a lot of you can relate. I am a neurodivergent person. So systems, and my assistant is actually here looking at this. I hate systems, but I needed to learn. I needed to sit my ass down and create them. I needed to sit my ass down and really, really work through all of the things with a regulated nervous system for me to have now better systems, better planning, better structure. And everything that I do it with support because I know that I cannot do it. So when I hired a team, when I hire people to work with, it's for them to do the things that does not bring me joy, that does not give me excitement. Because the moment that I feel my energy cave is that feminine energy, after the man talked to this girl in the party and you see the woman is like not saying much and just completely shut down. That is basically what happens inside of you when we do things that are out of alignment. Now, I wish I could talk more. And I will talk more. So keep on listening to this podcast or watching this video because it's so important. And there's so many layers that I can peel and so many podcasts that I would probably record because I love it. But there's so many layers to this. I don't want to please you. I don't want you to think that you can build a 7-figure business by shaking your ass, going to feminine energy classes and not doing shit. It just does not work that way. But on the flip side, it also doesn't work if you do like a lot of famous coaches out there say, fuck the emotions, follow the plan. That also doesn't work because when you are like I used to be, maybe like you are in some level as well, where your emotions were always negated, what are you doing? You are re traumatizing yourself, and then you're expecting to live in alignment. That will never work. You need to heal the layers, peel the layers, and follow the plan. And I think, again, allowing yourself for both of these realities to exist, both of these energies to flow within your system, both the feminine energy with her emotions, with her empathy, and the masculine energy with the structure, with the plan, with the action, and fully allowing both to be radiant and allowing both to exist, you have no clue the potential that you're going to unlock when you learn how to do this. And this is exactly what I help my clients with. An example is one of my clients, she just joined. She's a six-figure entrepreneur. She joined 2 months ago. She joined my mastermind. And when I was doing the intake with her, I noticed when, I closed her eyes and her body was moving. And I was like, oh my God, her nervous system was so locked and her flow was so locked. And she has invested 22K in strategy coaches, the best. I mean, she's already making six figures. She's having huge impact already in the world, but she is burned out. And she knows that the way that she was doing it doesn't work for her. The moment she joined, after 2 months, she joined my mastermind. She hit her first 25K month. What a quarter of what she made, and this is her own words. She is like, Dani, a quarter of what I made in a whole year, right? I made here in 1 month. And now I have the shame layers that, oh, how am I going to make it back? And I'm like, it's okay. But she's getting the picture. She's like, I didn't do more. I just stopped doing the things that were not in alignment. And this is why alignment is so important, because we first needed to peel the layers. And when you join my mastermind or start working with me, it is so important for you to understand that you cannot fast track yourself into feminine energy. It is the worst thing that you can do. You cannot fast track yourself, because that is you repeating the pattern that traumatized you in the first place. A trauma is an ordeal, an event that happened too fast, too soon, and without regulation, without someone emotionally present there with you. So when anything that you try to do too fast for where you're at in the moment is a traumatizing experience. When you do it with support, then the trauma is not there. This is why for me it's like every time I try to do something difficult in my business, whether it was my first event a couple of years ago, whether it's me doing the structures, I'm hiring coaches, I'm always investing in myself to feel supported to do all of these hard shit, because honestly, I am scaling a business past 7 figures, right? I'm creating systems. I'm doing things that I've never done in my life that are so triggering, that is something out of my comfort zone. But I know that number one, what I do is freaking epic. So everybody in the world should know how to work with this. And secondly, that I know that when you do it with support, the trauma is not there. And I think that a lot of women that are overly in their masculine energy, you believe that you have to do everything by yourself. And you need to let go of that, because when you allow yourself, I signed an agreement to be coached for the rest of my life in anything and everything that I feel like. Number one, because I'm an orphan, so I don't have a lot of family members and I don't want to overload my friends. So I know that to hold containment for a woman like me, I need a lot of support. So I've got team members, I've got friends, I've got coaches, multiple coaches along a lot of areas in my life. And here you are trying to reach your 7 figures all by yourself or with a team of two, because you're afraid of the responsibility, because you're afraid your freedom is going to go away. Like, seriously? You're not afraid of any of that. You're afraid to finally get the freedom that you know you want, that you know you desire, and that you're finally going to get the clients that you want, that you're finally going to get the revenue that you want. But you're so freaking scared of that you're going to keep self-sabotaging yourself to not do it. Misconception number 3. Feminine energy means being passive, being submissive. Absolutely not. It's not about waiting around. It's by leading with receptivity and magnetism. It's what I call the Marilyn Monroe method. The Marilyn Monroe method is a method that I use to explain how magnetism and masculine and the right mix of masculine and feminine energy and dark feminine energy mixed in together. Because Marilyn Monroe was one of those women that she embodies feminine energy. She embodies everything that feminine energy stands for: magnetism, nurturing, play, joy, beauty, luxury. She is the embodiment of power. And it's so weird that when we look at feminine energy, you don't necessarily think of power. And I agree with a lot of people saying that power woman is not a really good word to use, because it's like saying power men. Why are we not saying power men? And the word is only power women, is the only word that exists. It's like, I don't know, good human men, and you don't say good human women, because it's something that shouldn't be out there for debate. Is having that feminine energy is already powerful in itself. So you don't need to underline it that we're powerful. And by doing that, we're already mitigating our own power, if that makes sense. And Marilyn Monroe really knew how to do this. She knew how to move energy. She knew how to receive. She knew how to tease. She knew how to magnetize. And I don't even know if she actually knew what she was doing, but I've always been a fan of her. I remember having my whole room. Okay, this is gonna be a little bit of a personal story. I hope you're okay with it. And I remember having my room for my college years being completely hot pink, the color of my hat. I'm not kidding. I invited some of my friends to paint my room with me. And back in the day, I used to still drink alcohol. And I remember that there was more paint on us at the end of the night than on the walls. And I had to actually do it myself the next day and finish all of the spots that were not done. But you got to picture this. My college years room was completely hot pink on the walls, and I had like a zebra comforter, and I had Marilyn Monroe on the walls in one of those like almost theater like looking lights that I bought in IKEA, and my makeup and all of these things. This is who I've always been. I've always been very inspired by Marilyn Monroe because of the way that she presents herself, the way that she magnetizes the audience. And when you look at your business, when you're looking at your brand, I believe that a lot of people are trying to put like a hat on just by the fact of putting a hat on. I'm not wearing a hat. Really interesting story. I'm not wearing a hat because I want to stand out. It didn't start that way. I'm wearing a pink hat, number one, because it's my favorite color, and number two, because I'm a psychic medium, so it actually helps me to protect my seventh chakra, my agna, and number three, because I've always wore hats. And I actually have a picture of me wearing a hat when I was 3. I've always been a lot into hats. It's like this, it brings me a lot of joy. And what I feel like a lot of people out there are doing wrong when it comes to branding, when it comes to magnetizing your audience, is that you're trying to think your way into a brand instead of releasing all of the things that you're not and allowing the fullest expression of who you are to actually shine through. And this is where literally I am wearing the colors. My new brand are the colors of my college years bedroom, because it's always been my favorite color. It's always been my favorite combination: black, white, gold, and pink. And there's also layers that I can attach to it, where it's like, pink is the color of abundance and the color of with the highest frequency. But when you are looking at magnetism and passive, it's not about you not doing anything. It's about the intention from which you move. Feminine energy is the intention from which you move. If you move, if you do something because you have to do it. And again, oh my God, there are the layers again. Many more podcasts to come. But you need to understand that where you are in your journey, there's a different strategy to follow when it comes to leaning even deeper into your feminine energy. And I want to underline this, because what I'm about to say your ego might take it and be like, oh, see, you're not supposed to do anything. You're not supposed to take action. It's not what I'm saying, is that the intention from which you take action should be different when you're truly in your feminine energy. Like, this is one of the first times that I'm actually recording a podcast on here, because for me, when I started my business, it was about consistency. And I couldn't have consistency if I had to come to a podcast studio, do the makeup, do the things. I just wanted to record on the go. But now that I'm here, I was like, oh my God, I'm having so much fun and I'm in joy and I am here and I'm already like, okay, I want to do this every single week. That is my intention, my joy, me feeling like it's expansive, me feeling like this is in alignment instead of me forcing myself for 3 days or 5 days or how many long I decided to do this podcast and then trying to script every little thing because I didn't even script this podcast, honestly. I just wrote down the 5 things I wanted to say and I'm going on rants and I already have to book another hour because I didn't even get to say all of the things I wanted to say. And I think that this is for you really important when you want to really deep dive into your magnetism and receptivity is about always checking in with yourself. Am I doing this because I believe if I don't, I will not succeed? Then it's you trying to prove yourself. Then it's you chasing. But when you do it from, oh my God, this is amazing. I want to do this. This ignites me. This turns me on. That is you being magnetizing and receptive. Feminine CEOs don't chase, but they also don't sit on the sidelines. So don't think that if you want to reach your 7 figures or if you want to reach your consistent 6 figures, that you actually get to do nothing. If this is you, then forget it. It's not going to work. But if you are willing to create a structure, a system, and follow your feminine energy, heal your feminine energy. I've been in both unhealthy sides, both unhealthy sides, and I'm healing both. And for me, it's a journey of becoming. My business is not about the money. My business is about 2 things: my journey of becoming who I'm meant to be, and second, my journey of helping whom I'm and number 2 is helping whom I'm supposed to help. So don't forget that when you are only chasing the money, you are doing that from the intention of, if I don't do this, I'm not going to feel safe. I just need another 100K. I just need another this and another this. And then before you know it, you're going to go 2 or 3 years without actually having a proper vacation. I drop my business a lot. Not drop it, but I stop working. And I have zero problems with stopping work because I trust that if my feminine energy needs some time to process whatever is happening, my divorce, my miscarriage, narcissistic abuse, failed relationships, even things in my business that happened with clients that I'm like, oh my God, like heart crushing things, and you just push through all the freaking time and then you expect down the road to not have backlash on it. Now, I'm not saying you have to always drop everything. No, again, that's where the sidelines comes from. But you really need to have the ability to, when you really allow the flood to come, the water to come, then really just allow the water to come because it's just a wave. When you allow the wave to pass through, it's not going to kill everyone. Everybody's just going to have to swim in the village and then everything is going to be fine again. It's not a flood that keeps coming, which is what happens when a lot of women and men as well tend to, push a lot of emotions down. Then the dikes are not even going to be able to hold it anymore. Does that make sense? So it's not about passivity. It's about understanding that your sensations and your emotions matter as much as your strategy. Misconception number 4: feminine energy is something that you do. Oh my God. The amount of times I have to say to someone that you cannot go into your feminine energy by doing something, I swear if I got $1 for every time I got asked this question, I would be a multiple millionaire right now. Because this is number one question women ask me. It's like, Danny, so what do I have to do to go into my feminine energy? And here I'm like, you don't have to do anything, sweetheart. Feminine energy is how you are in every decision. Your pricing, your boundaries, your leadership. It's not just a lot of tea drinking, bubble baths, moon rituals, cacao ceremonies. It's not about that. It's how you show up when money slows down or when your team needs your presence, way more than your performance. So, feminine energy is not about that. What will actually allow your feminine energy to start to flourish, to start to feel safe, is by you healing the toxic side of your masculine energy. And the toxic side of your masculine energy is that perfectionist that goes no matter what happens. We're gonna keep going and going and going. Obviously, your feminine energy, which is an opposite force, will not feel safe to fully arrive. So it will not. And then something's gonna break. Sooner or later, maybe you've already been through this before, that if you don't allow your emotions to be, sooner or later, you're gonna have a burnout, you're gonna get sick, you're gonna get a divorce, something's gotta break. All right? So you need to understand that if you want your feminine energy to show up, your masculine energy is the first thing that you need to work on. This is why when people come and work with me in business, even, it's like, okay, usually it looks something around me really helping them to heal their masculine energy, to heal their perfectionism, to heal their desire to help everyone and save everyone or take care of everyone, their desire to plan everything according to a certain structure, and really allowing them to release and let go and surrender to the feminine energy. Because again, imagine if you go out on a date. I actually went out on a date with someone like this, so I actually can tell you a story about this. I met this guy, I think a year ago, maybe longer, and we hit it off. We had an emotional connection, and then I told him I really wanted to go on a hike. And he was an avid hiker. He had a house in, I don't know, France. And then he was like a military guy. Waking up, I was feeling his anxiety every time that I wanted to take a break. I was not having fun on this trip. Obviously, you can imagine what happened after that. I didn't date him anymore. Even though we had an emotional connection, because I didn't feel safe being myself around this guy. I didn't feel safe taking a rest when he was there, because every single hour of the day needed to be accounted for. And that is what happens internally within yourself when you're trying to run your business from that unhealthy masculine side. And when we heal all of this, then we can start nurturing a relationship with our own inner feminine energy. And again, all that I'm doing here is igniting your mind. So I want to underline that this is a process that is an embodied process. It is found in your day-to-day practices, in your day-to-day reactions, in your day-to-day triggers, and how you deal with everything that shows up in your business. So you cannot do something to ignite, to drop into your feminine. You can only allow your feminine energy to feel safe for it naturally to show up. Because when she shows up, she's gonna make it known. Because you're gonna feel all of the exhaustion that you haven't allowed yourself to feel for years. So a long vacation is usually what I prescribe a lot of my clients once their feminine energy comes through. And the most beautiful thing is that that's exactly what they do, because they feel the trust to finally do it. An example of this is one of my clients. She had been an entrepreneur for 5 years already. She came to me, and that was exactly her journey: healing her masculine energy, creating containment for her own emotions, healing a lot of her trauma, doing her strategy, launching her membership, raising her prices, so many things that we did. And then she hit her 20K month. And then we were in the middle of the summer, and she was like, you know what I really would love to do, Dani? We're in a group call. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I would love to just take a break. And I'm like, okay, when was the last time that you took a break? She's like, I have never taken a break in 5 years of me running my business. And then obviously I didn't choose for her. And I was like, okay, if Emerge, my mastermind, is for you to grow, and growth comes from being uncomfortable, what choice is going to make you the most uncomfortable right now? And she was like, taking a break. And then I look at her, and I've got, at this point, 12 women in the call with me. And I just wave my hand at her, and I'm like, okay, bye. And she's like, wait, you mean do it now? I mean, you just said it. And that's the type of coach I am. I was like, immediate action. And she's like, fuck. She started crying. We held containment for that emotion. And then she signed off. And after that, she has been in the most flow that she has ever been. And she's like, Dani, I finally understand it. And I'm so fucking proud of her, because a lot of women don't dare to do this. And now everything is flowing, everything is clicking, and this is exactly the process. But again, I've been working with her for 2 years. She's done multiple events with me. We've done multiple one-on-ones inside of my Emerge Mastermind. We've done multiple work that we've been doing very deep. So I'm really proud of the work that she did, because this is a testament to what I'm trying to teach you. You don't have to do anything. It's once you allow yourself to fully release. Because even I have people that even tell me, oh, yeah, but I took a break for 2 weeks or I took a break for a month. But if in that month, all you could do is shame yourself for the fact that you're not working and you have not really returned from that, and if you have not allowed the sensations in your body to land differently, for it to feel safe for you to take a break for a month, then honestly, you might as well just continue working because you're not doing anything. You're just doing something that you were told to do that might ignite your feminine energy, but it's not going to give you any actual change. Misconception number 5. This is the most important misconception that I want you to take a pen and a paper and write this one down. Because after all of the things that you learned from me in this podcast, video, whatever it was that you watched it, your mind will do the following. Okay, if this is what I need to do, then I'm gonna start doing it. And then what you're gonna start doing after listening to this is you're gonna start judging yourself. Ah, fuck, I'm not in my feminine right now. Ah, fuck, I should be more in my masculine. Oh no, I should be more in my feminine. Wait, but Danny said this, and then Danny said that, and then this loop is gonna start coming. And this is what I previously called the shame layer. Because the misconception number 5 is you cannot think your way into your feminine energy. You can't. It's not an intellectual thing. It's not another strategy. It's not another thing to chase with perfectionism. You have to feel safe. You need to reconnect to your body, reconnect to your intuition, reconnect to your true empathy, reconnect with the number 1 word of feminine energy, which is presence. Presence with yourself, presence with others, presence in your body, presence with your intuition, presence in what is allowed to flow through you in that moment. It's about embodiment. And this is why I believe so much that embodiment is the way to go. And at the same time, because I tend to coach doctors, lawyers, right now in my Emerge Mastermind, I have a psychologist, a former financial director, doctors, fashion stylists, like people that really studied hard. So my women, those of you that I help, are very conditioned by the brain, by marks, by doing it the right way. So it's a natural thing that we tend to do. And the reason why I teach so much step by steps and I teach is because your body cannot surrender to the solution if it doesn't understand the problem. And a lot of the high achieving women that I help that want to change the world, that have big vision, bold things for the world, but they understand that they need both energies and they need to know how to do the strategy and how to be in alignment and how to connect with a higher power and how to truly be present with the other person, because then sales also becomes easy. When you can be present with someone else, sales is so easy because that is what ignites trust. So all of these things is like a domino effect. And no matter where you start, one stone will hover the other stone, will tumble the other stone to fall. So you need to understand that you cannot understand the feminine energy. You can only embody it. And for you to embody it, you need a mirror. You need a container. You need someone that you can feel it with. An example of this is like when I did one of my trainings, and I've done many trainings to heal a lot of things and a lot of things that I'm really interested in. And one of them was energetic body work. And in this energetic body work, someone would lay down and I would activate a certain energy, their Kundalini energy, and their body would start moving as they're moving through trauma, releasing trauma from the body. I no longer do this only with my one-on-one clients or during my retreats, so please don't DM me about this, but I'm just telling you this story for the sake of the embodiment on how your body is supposed to shift when there is a mentor or someone to lead you and show you the way. So I would have my client on a mat releasing their trauma, and I would have to tell them that depending on their desire, I'm going to have to embody it, because your body can also learn from being together in a room energetically. It's like the test that was done. There was one person that was super angry and then 5 people that were super happy. The energetic code of one angry person will always overshadow the 5 people. And when they get out of the room, more people were feeling anger without them knowing it. It's something like that, right? So often told my clients, an example would be, let's say they want to release sexual trauma, and what they want is sexual liberation. So their intention is, I want to feel safe in my body through sex and pleasure. Great. So as I'm seeing them go through the pain, I would really tap into my sensual energy. Obviously, that's a little bit weird if my client would open up their eyes and they're going through it and they see me smiling and going into a pleasurable feelings. But it's because I needed to hold what my mentor back in the day said, the non-dual healing. And this is what I constantly do inside of all of my containers. Whether it's an event, whether it's a retreat, whether it's in my mastermind or working with me one on one, it is exactly what I do. I don't teach, I embody. I don't teach, I guide. Because I believe that if you are ready to work with me, you don't need another mentor. You need someone that actually sees your potential and doesn't allow that version of you to hide. And I have a limitless mentality. And because I started not giving a shit, I started living my life in a limitless possibility. And I am the most delulu person I've ever met. Even all of the mentors that I've ever met, well, some of them, they're also out there and we can vibe with them. Like one of them is probably Ken Honda. He's also very delulu and I love him for it. But there's nothing that is impossible for you. Nothing. And that's what I believe. I believe that about myself and I believe that about you. So when you are being coached by me, I will not let your shit hide because I will call you out on it, but I will also not let you hide your shine hide. And I will be relentless when it comes to you achieving your goals. And I will call you out. And I always say I will, with love and a kick in the butt, because I believe that women like me and like you, we need someone that upholds that bigger, brightest version of us and not tell us like, oh yeah, but this is not possible. This is not. No, we already have those voices in our head. So when we are intellectualizing the feminine energy, is us again keeping ourselves small. It's about you allowing someone else to show you, to embody that, so that you can, the non-dual healing can do its work. Just being in the room, and I think you have experienced this, when you're in a room, in a conference with a lot of people that have the same mentality, that have the same ego, you naturally expand. Oh my God, I get goosebumps. And that is exactly what I do in my containers. I literally have a limitless mentality. And I want to take you with me and all of the women that have the same mentality. And I will fire you. I would rather fire you than lower my standards, just like I would in any relationship, which is why I'm still single. I have gone on more than 100 first dates, not because I lack attention of men, but because I know the standards that I uphold for myself. And it's not about being perfect, because obviously, but I really do desire a partner that is also embodied. Because otherwise, what are we even doing? I've got too many lives to change. And with my clients, is the same. I only want to take those women with me that are ready to do the work, because I will freaking work for them, but I will not do the reps for them, because it's an embodiment thing that you're going to have to do, because you're going to have to change a lot of lives, because not everybody will be coached by Daniela Cura. And some people will have to be coached or with your services and the things that you do and the work that you do and the magic that you spread. That's what they need. They don't need me. They need you. And I need you to wake up, because honestly, one of the things that I believe is my big why is I am an orphan. And 5 years ago, I almost died. I swear. It's another story that I will tell you another time, but 5 years ago, I almost died. And in that moment, that version of me died. So I am now living to experience the fullness of life. I am fearless. And I want you to be fearless. I want you to feel that energy. I want you to feel, oh my God, this is where I can be. And obviously, I have built so many things. I have done it all. I've done the events. I've done the retreats. I've done the certifications. Like I even have my own certification for coaches. I've done so many things that all of this I've invested over, at this point, 300,000 euros to get to where I'm at. And I have done so many mistakes. And when you work with me, it's about not teaching you what works for me or what has worked for other people. It's about me seeing and looking at you and being like, okay, this is where you're at. This is where you want to be. This is the gap, which a lot of coaches say. But then your nervous system, your purpose, the way that your feminine and masculine energy is going through this, and the skills that you need to learn, this is the personalized journey that will get you from A to B in a shorter amount of time. And this is why I believe so much in my method, in how I teach everybody the highest service offer, which is the high ticket offer for big hearted human beings, and my method to become a purposeful millionaire. And I'm teaching all of these methods because I believe that there is a way that you don't have to get overwhelmed. Your perfectionism doesn't need to be triggered, which is exactly what I had when I started my journey. I bought so many business courses, and all they did is give me more information and not so many action, because I felt like I needed to do this before I could sell. I needed to do this before I could get a client. When I knew that I just wanted clients, and I just wanted someone to tell me, if you take these 5 steps, you're going to get your first client, and not the perfect idea of it, because they didn't look at what skills that I already have, where was my nervous system, what was my pricing. And I think that what I teach and how I teach it will teach you, right, how to take these steps and collapse time. And that is what I love doing for the women that I help inside of my Emerge Mastermind and inside of my membership. Okay, let me take a sip. It's been a while. To wrap it up, feminine energy isn't just a buzzword. It's the rewiring that leads you to actually scale your business without burning out. It's the thing that will make you not die 5 years after you retire. Did you know that most people die 5 years after they retire because they do not know what to do with their time? They do not know how to allow freedom, how to allow space, how to allow rest feel in the nervous system. And because it doesn't feel safe, your body will decay because it thinks, oh my God, this is unsafe, and lights out. So I don't want that reality for you. I don't want you to die 5 years after you retire. I want you to start today, living today as you would after. Most women I work with already know strategies. They already know what they're supposed to do. You already know what are the steps. You probably already work with a lot of strategy coaches already, with a lot of marketing coaches, and all they tell you, this is what you got to do. But nobody holds containment for the complexity of your being and the vastness of your purpose. You have a huge ass purpose. You have a bold vision. And yet here they are trying to fit it into a marketing box. But again, we cannot outsource that power, because even me, I tried a lot with a lot of money to solve my problems. Hired many marketing agencies. That's where a lot of my money went to. But I could not do that because I needed to be in alignment. I needed to be turned on. I needed to have that vision and that clarity first. So if you resonate with this, I know that you are ready to step into that next reality. You are ready to emerge, because what you need is not a mentor. What you need is to embody the energy that lets you hold more wealth, more clients, more visibility, more joy, more sex, more amazing, epic life without waiting until you can actually enjoy the fruits of your labor. I would love to know what landed with you from this podcast episode. Drop down below what were the biggest aha moments, because seriously, this is so multi-layered and I didn't script it. I just allowed it to be here. Before I pressed play, I closed my eyes and I said, universe, take the wheel. What needs to be said here? And I'm really, really happy if you made it this far to also let me know in a DM on my Instagram. I just listened to your podcast episode, or I just watched your YouTube video and it landed for me in this way, because I would love to know how your life and your business has been impacted by the work that I do. Thank you so much, and I see you next time. If you like this video, click follow, because I'm going to be dropping so many more juicy stories, a lot of strategy sessions, and it's always a mix of both your feminine energy and your masculine energy. Much love. Bye-bye.